Hello everyone and welcome back to my kitchen. I am super excited about today's recipe. We are going to be making the best pistachio white chocolate chip cookies with brown butter and sea salt. I have been working on this specific cookie recipe for months, and last week I finally got the recipe exactly down to the taste and texture that I want them to be, and they are beyond amazing. They're a little bit crispy on the bottom, soft and chewy on the inside, and so incredibly flavorful. We'll start with some browned butter and then add in white and brown sugar and my secret ingredient, whole milk powder, which adds a whole nother flavor profile to the cookies and makes them really nice and chewy. Then we'll fold in our pistachios, white chocolate chips, a little bit of sea salt on the top. These are simply divine. You are not going to be able to stop eating these. They're so delicious. For the full list of ingredients and the printable instructions, head on down into the video description box for all the information up on my website. And now let me show you how to make the best cookies ever. One of the key ingredients for this cookie recipe is browned butter. We're going to start with 1 cup and 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter, place them into a small saucepan, and we're going to brown the butter on the stovetop. Now this is a step you can complete ahead of time because the butter does need to cool a little bit before we could use it in the recipe. Let's head over to the stovetop. First, we need to melt the butter over medium heat, and I like to cube my butter into small pieces so that it melts faster and evenly. Once the butter has melted, you want to reduce your heat to medium-low. You can see at this point the milk solids have separated from the butter and they're floating on the top. You want to keep cooking. At this stage, the foam has died down and our milk solids are sinking to the bottom of the pan. Continue cooking your butter until it foams for a second time, and then stir it occasionally, and you're going to start to see these brown little specks in the butter, and that is the burnt milk solids that are sinking to the bottom of the pan. And once your butter starts to turn a beautiful golden brown color, it's ready. Remove the butter from the heat and then strain it through a fine mesh sieve into a measuring cup. Place your browned butter into your fridge to cool for about an hour, hour and a half until it's cooled down to room temperature. And then once the butter has cooled and you're ready to make the cookie batter, go ahead and preheat your oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. It needs to be preheated for at least 20 minutes before you start baking the cookies. And with this recipe, you don't need to chill the dough. You can make the cookies right away. We're going to pour this butter into a large mixing bowl. And brown butter has this incredible, delicious aroma. It really adds incredible flavor to the cookies too. To the butter, add in 3/4 cups of white granulated sugar and 3/4 cups of packed light brown sugar. I'm going to use my blender to mix together the butter and the sugars, and you want to cream this for about 3 to 4 minutes. Next, we'll drop in 2 large eggs, and I like to add about 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract or vanilla bean paste. Cream this together. In a separate bowl, I'm going to combine all my dry ingredients. We have 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. I'm going to add in 1 teaspoon of sea salt, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and we're going to need 3 tablespoons of dried milk powder. I'm using this whole milk powder. I purchased this on Amazon. I'll include a link down in the video description box below. Do not skip this ingredient. This is a must for this recipe. Drop it in. I'm going to use a spoon and combine this all together. Add your dry ingredients to the cookie batter, and we're going to mix just until everything is combined. And last, we'll add in 1 cup of white chocolate chips and 1 cup of chopped roasted pistachios. Use a spatula to mix that all in. You want to make sure that the fillings are really well distributed within the cookie dough. We'll use a 1.5 tablespoon scoop for measuring out the cookie dough for each cookie. Scoop and then drop it on to your baking sheet lined with a parchment paper or silicone mat. And my cookies are ready to go into the oven. They're going to bake at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for about 10 minutes. You want the bottom of the cookie to be nice golden brown color, but the top should be slightly underdone. That way when the cookies set, they'll still be nice and chewy in the center. As soon as you take the cookies out of the oven, you want to sprinkle them with some sea salt flakes. And then use a large measuring cup or a glass, and you want to gently press down over the top of the cookies. Very gently, just to get rid of this little dome on top. And then we'll slide them off the baking sheet onto our cooling rack. And while the cookies are still nice and hot, I'm going to use a large circle cookie cutter and just spin the cookies around. This will give them a nice round shape, but it also gives them a thicker edge around the sides. And I want to show you guys the incredible texture of these cookies. They are so incredibly soft and chewy on the inside. When they break open, they're kind of gooey, and then they have that golden brown crust on the back. So incredibly delicious. You're going to love the texture of these. My last batch of cookies is in the oven, and my first batch has cooled down enough for me to enjoy. I can't wait for you to try these cookies. The flavors, the textures, it is what I consider like the perfect chocolate chip cookie. And you could use the cookie dough recipe for all types of fillings. So you can use like regular chocolate chips, maybe add some chopped pecans, maybe even a little drizzle of caramel on top. This recipe is super versatile. I absolutely love the combination of the salted pistachios with the white chocolate. One of my favorite cookie fillings. Time to dig in and enjoy. I think that cookies this good should be illegal, because why do I want to eat 10 of them? They are so incredibly delicious. You have a little bit of crispiness on the crust, so they have a really, really good bite, but then the top, the inside is really soft and chewy, and they stay nice and soft and chewy. You're gonna love the texture. You have a little bit of the sea salt coming through, lots of good sweetness, a touch of vanilla in there, and the combination of the pistachio and the white chocolate is so incredibly delicious. These cookies are simply to die for, and I can't wait for you to try them. You need to run to make these, because I guarantee you, once you try these, you will never use another chocolate chip cookie recipe again. This is going to be yours for life. Don't forget to head on down into the video description box for the recipe details up on my website. Thank you so much for watching my latest episode, and I'm going to see you next time with a new recipe.